Hi and welcome to this course on architectural facades. We're going to kick the first lesson off with a blank scene in 3ds Max, and we're going to look at how to import and set up the base CAD files that we will use as our reference to get all the modeling done in the next lesson. So to get going, let's go across to References and File Link Manager, and there you're going to click File and then find your CAD plan called Design Plans. That is in the Referenced Files folder. Go ahead and open that up, tick Rescale and choose millimeters, since that's the scale that I was using for this file. Under Select Layers, you can leave all of them selected, so leave that as is, and then go ahead and attach the file. Immediately you can go into your top view and hit F3 if it is in shaded mode, just so that you can see the layer colors. Just as another setup, you can use G to hide the grid. And as I go forward with all the lessons from here on, I'm going to mention some of the shortcuts that I use just to give you an idea of what's happening in the background, but I'm going to assume that your level of modeling and your level of 3D Max work is quite advanced. So pardon me if there are some basics that I run over very quickly as we go along. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to give you an overview of what exactly we're looking at so that you have an idea ahead, at least in your mind, as to what we're going to model. Whereas the first thing you really want to do is not be confused by what you're looking at or what the architects or designers have given you. So you just want to have everything in your mind first before you get going. So what we will do is we will hide some of the layers so that we can unhide one layer being the first facade. So you can go ahead and hide everything and then just look at your facade 1. Also, you can choose your plans and you can unhide those. So the first elevation that we're looking at, which is the first building, we're going to be doing 3 in total, is the existing classical building. Here we have the plan for it and then the elevation down below. So the street scene that it is sitting on, we will look at the pavements and the trees and all that a little bit later in the course. And we're going to be starting with the base modeling for this scene around the building. Now, all we're really concerned with for this course is really this front facade. We're not going to worry too much about the back of the building, since we want to go more into depth on the different elements that make up this small piece of facade. So in the first option, the facade 01, we'll be having this classical building. We can actually turn on the elevational context so you can see the heights of the other buildings next door. And you can see immediately that it has very regular windows. All of them are copies besides the ones at the bottom. And you'll see a couple of ornamental moldings that make up the window sills and the frames around the windows. And also you will see a couple of profiles or sections through what these moldings will look like. So this molding down here will be using this section here, and the large window molding will use this one. These window sills will come from here, and the window moldings come from this section here, whereas this mold that wraps around the building will use that. So all of this gives you an idea already in the CAD geometry of what we will be creating in 3ds Max. If I hide the first facade and I reveal the second, you'll see that it is a very different architectural style. This is where we come with our second and then third facade style. The second is off-shutter concrete with some glass paneling in between. So we will look at how we can model up the off-shutter concrete blocks that make up this wall. It is relatively simple geometry, but we will look at how we can model in more of the details to make it look more realistic. The top half of the building has these large slabs that cantilever out with balustrades, and then it has all of these sliding shutters on the facade. You very often see these buildings being built lately. It's quite a contemporary style where you have this variable facade where the shutters move left and right. So that's what we'll be looking at, and we'll even get into the animating part of this, where we'll look at how we can animate these shutters so that we can show options of how the building looks when everything is closed or open, and various levels of opacity. So that will get quite interesting. Facade 2 also has a plan to it, which if you turn off the plans of the existing building, you'll see that this is the option 2 plan, and option 2 also has a section which is over here, which we will use to generate that option 2. Now option 3 is a very interesting one. This is the futuristic and organic version, a la Zaha Hadid, if any of you are a fan. So it comprises of the facade 4 and facade 5, where 4 will be a set of smooth concrete-like shapes, and 5 will be a organic green facade where we'll have these creepers growing off planters and basically shading the whole building from a very ecological point of view. Also on that facade number 3, you can have a look at the 2 reference hand sketches that are provided. This one shows a hand-done version of a little bit more detail that has been added. So you can see the concept here would be these 2 stones with these grooves cut into it. The plan here shows how the forms in front have this bulging effect that we want to achieve. And then we will also see how the green facade is made up of all these individually planted hanging creepers that we are going to model. And I'm going to show you along each step how we can create quite a realistic version, and also how we can take shortcuts doing this in case you don't want to have too much complexity in your modeling, in case you want to simplify things. So that is the end of the first lesson. What we've done is we've just spoken through very briefly what basically our project is going to be all about, so you get an idea. Immediately in the next lesson, we will go and turn up all of this geometry and position it into place so that we can start our modeling, and we may also trace 1 or 2 of the outlines for this city block so that we can get an idea of what our context is starting to look like. So thanks for watching this first lesson. I hope it is interesting to you, and I hope that you will learn many valuable techniques as you go along through this course throughout the other lessons. Thank you.